Hey, what's going on, everyone? Ryan again with RPK Customs. This is going to be an instructional video slash introduction video for something that I am going to be supplying. I've made up a batch of them today, a very small batch, and I'm going to be making more and putting them on my website as soon as I get my website back up and running. Should only be about another week or two. But what I've started making is caps that go over your existing Graflex lever pin rivet. So that little rivet right there. In the Chronicles photos, we can see that it's actually a larger size head than what we see on the ink here, and definitely larger than the Fulmer. The Fulmer rivet head is a little bit smaller than this one. And this is the small batch that I made up today. Like I said, I'm going to be making more of these and putting them on my website here in the near future because these seem to be kind of popular. All right, so I am going to be modifying my vintage Graflex or my vintage Graflex lever. I'm going to be putting a cap on this. Now I'm going to be using this 5-minute clear epoxy. Excuse me. That way, if I ever want to take this cap off, I can just soak this in some acetone. It'll soften up and I'll be able to pop this right off. You can also use some E6000. E6000 will be a lot easier to get off. It will not be permanent at all. But I recommend if you are putting this on an installed saber and you're going to be swinging this around a lot, I would recommend probably some JB Weld. That way you don't have to worry about this coming off at all. Honestly, I think E6000 would probably be a little bit better in terms of just strength. But E6000 is very, very stringy and it tends to annoy me. So I'm going to be using this 5-minute epoxy. So hopefully you guys can see all this. I cannot see my screen, so we're going to do the best we can. Just going to put a little bit right here on this paper. Mix it up good. And then just grab one of these little caps. And I'll put it on just so you can see with no glue. Kind of hard, doesn't want to stay on there. Now I machined these to go over a Roman's clamp rivet head. So a replica rivet head. I've also tried this on a TGS and it works on the TGS as well. Hopefully you can see there is a small gap under the rivet head cap. It is not like that on Romans and TGS replica clamps. But I found that these vintage heads or the vintage rivet heads vary in size ever so slightly. Could take a needle file and shave down the existing head, but since this is a vintage and this is my really nice vintage, I don't feel comfortable doing that. I want to keep everything as stock as possible, and I am just going to be gluing this on. You really can't notice that tiny little gap anyway. So what we're going to do, I am just going to put a dab of glue right on the top of this head, and then I'm going to place the rivet. All right, hopefully you can see that. Actually, it might be a little bit too much. I don't want it to seep out the underneath. So let's take a little bit off. That should be fine. And take the rivet head. Then now with the opposite side of the toothpick, I can just kind of push it down, make sure it's flush, and then I'll let it sit for, probably at least 15 minutes and wait for it to cure up. All right, that looks pretty good to me. Hopefully you guys can see this because, like I said, I can't see my camera. So actually, hold on. Let me stand up real quick. All right. This way, at least I know you guys can see. So I have this all glued up. You can see there is a small gap under the cap. Like I said, this is not the issue on any replica clamp. So these all seem to work very well on replica clamps. It seats all the way down to the lever itself. Seems to vary ever so slightly on these vintage units. Probably because quality control wasn't the best back in the 40s. So I'm going to sit this down and let that dry up. This one is dry. And you can see it looks much larger and more like the Chronicle photos. So if you guys would like one of these little rivet head caps, you can shoot me a message on Instagram, Facebook, email, rpkcustoms@gmail.com. Instagram and Facebook are both at rpkcustoms. And my website will be coming soon. Like I said, in about another week or two, it should be live. That's going to be rpkcustoms.com. So, thanks for watching, guys. May the force be with you.